Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual Cheese Awards 2023, where we is the best of British cheeses. Um, I am Gautam Krishna, and I'll be moderating this session. Joining me is Emma Young and Nigel Barden, our two judges. Judges, would you like to introduce yourself? Emma, begin with you.
Hi, I'm Emma Young. I'm a cheese consultant, which means that I help open cheese businesses around the world. And I also do some writing, just published my first book, which is out in August.
Nigel?
Amazing. I'm also called Emma Young.
Amazing.
I'm not in another life. No, I'm Nigel Barden, food and drink journalist, and basically a champion of artisan food and drink producers. But particularly cheese is a great subject. Grew up eating. I was nurtured on Mrs. Kirkham's Lancashire, so I'm 123 years of age. It's amazing. But
You look great.
Delighted to be involved with the Virtual Cheese Awards, and what a great way. And who would have thought it would have worked like this? But it is. So yeah, lucky us.
So the judges use a point-based system where they allot a score to different attributes, 5 different attributes for the cheese. And the cheese with the highest score at the end of the round wins the round and go through the next stage. Today we will be judging the class organic soft cheese. And the first entry number would be E41140.
Organic, wow, lucky us. Come to
Yeah. Organic soft. Yeah, perfect. So you got number 1?
Yeah.
Cool. So we have got a decapitated pyramid.
Yeah.
White rinded, quite a velvety white rind to the touch, so it's got a bit of texture to it. And I've got a little bit of a few patches around the perimeter and around the base where the mold hasn't quite taken hold or where it's left the cheese. Is yours quite even?
I mean, those tiny little bits just there.
Mm.
Mine are pretty small, but they are just, if that's what you mean, just there.
Okay. Not much then. What beautiful color. I really wish you could see. I need to just get a better camera. Oh, you can't see that. It's like a really deep golden yellow color. So the color looks great. However, unfortunately, it's doing a little slippy slip. So if I press slightly, it's slipping out the rind on this one. So that's yeah, quite a lot actually. I don't know how much you can see that.
Yeah, mine isn't.
That's weird. So again, we'll sort of compromise with Nigel's one. So my textures of, I'm gonna check my fridge. It's fine. My fridge temperature is fine, but that's really strange. Okay, so
it is immediately quite chalky. That's what it springs to mind. You can see that having cut through it, it becomes like slightly wave motion there. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just pointing it out at this stage.
that looks quite nice. If you squish yours like this, it looks, yeah, so that's going to go the same way as mine. If you have a look around the rind, it's starting to slip out as well. So mine's just maybe a tiny bit more advanced.
Yes,
but
yeah. I've got a little bit of oozy action just down the bottom here, but not much. It's great. Yeah.
One thing to note as well on mine, the rind looks very thick. So the appearance for me, the rind looks like it's very thick, and you see, I mean, you can see it quite clearly in there. So that's something which I would expect to be slightly less thick.
Mine, maybe less. I don't know. It's funny. The artisan nature, they're slightly different, aren't they?
Yeah.
So how we're looking appearance-wise.
Okay. I love the colour of the milk, but I have got a couple of faults. So I think appearance-wise, for me, I can't really go higher than a 6.5.
I haven't got those faults as much as you.
Fine. So I think, where would you score yours?
I'm happy. Well, I'd probably go for about 7.5, but
so 7 then would.
Yeah, 7. I'm 7. Yeah.
Fine.
And I love the contrast. We're doing a lovely white rind, and then this beautiful cream. You can't really pick it up, but the yellowy interior, and it looks really enticing.
That's really striking. I love that too. It's, you can even sort of see in this slightly dodgy camera that mine looks like a frame around there. So that's quite a big fault for me. Aroma.
Citrus notes. It's the most of a lemony one I've had for a while. It's quite subtle. You've got to look for it, but
Yeah,
it smells citrusy and clean.
it's clean. It's definitely clean. I've got quite a lot of mushroom from the thick white rinds, but I have got some nice sort of more vibrant lactic acidity coming through. A bit of butter as well, something nicely dairy. No, nothing unclean on my nose.
No.
And on the cheese.
Very nice nose. Buttery cheese, that'll never take off.
What a stupid idea. So, aroma, where are you sitting?
I think, I mean, it's not going out and grabbing our nostril hair, but it's not bad. 7.5.
Gross. That's such a gross image. 7.5 is fine.
7.5 for the aroma.
Merry Christmas, 7.5.
Moving on to the texture.
It's almost like ice cream. It's amazing.
I have issues with the texture, unfortunately. So this is a cheese which is about 10-15% rind, and my rind I don't want to eat because it's so thick. The texture in the middle, it looks like ice cream. The breakdown itself is completely liquid. It's not just a bit of pudge, it's liquid and solid in the middle. Yours looks different to mine, so we're definitely going to have to middle ground it, but yours is starting to go as well. So texturally, I can't score this highly because there's a couple of faults.
What would you give it?
6.
Yeah, in that case, mine's a bit better than yours, to be honest. So 6.5 or 7. I mean,
Can we give it 6.5?
give it 6.5.
Thank you.
We just have.
Yeah.
6.5 for texture. And for the flavor?
I do get those mushroomy notes you were talking about more in the mouth. I'd like to taste the cheese more.
It's rind, isn't it? So it's mushroom rind, and I've got bitter on the end of mine.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about lovely, creamy, oozy cheese I can see. Can't really taste, unfortunately.
No.
It's a bit masked by the others, which is a pity. It's a beautiful looking cheese, and yeah, that's a pity. The rind definitely dominates just too much.
Where are you for score?
6.5.
Sure.
Were you going to go lower than that, or?
Yeah, but 6.5 it's fine. Yeah, that's okay.
6.5 for the flavor. Moving on to the next cheese will be E41099.
I think with mine, Nigel, that would have been flavour changing as well because of my maturity, the cheese's maturity. Lack thereof.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Right.
Not one to comment.
1099.
Yeah.
This is a very evenly and a little bit thickly coated penicillium sort of rind, so camembert brie bloomy royal style. Bloomy rind. It feels very dense, so it's quite a flat cheese. It's quite hard to see, but generally for a cheese of this size, you'd see possibly a tiny bit more height, but it is quite a flat disc.
Funny, I got one side was quite a lot broader than the other.
Yeah, yours. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's pretty evenly coated and consistent.
My rind is very thick, so I've done a sort of a little bendy. I mean, I know you're not supposed to bend a cheese like that, but it's quite dry, the rind. So I'm just going to cut into it and see what it looks like. But from the outside of the rind, it looks quite clinically white.
Yeah.
So in the paste, it is very, very dense, very firm. It hasn't broken down much at all, which you'd want to feel a bit more in a style of cheese like this. So it's very very, very dense. It's got a bit of a breakdown. Oh, I don't think you can see it all. Sorry. Yeah, a bit of a breakdown starting around the rind, which, under the rind, which is nice. But overall, it is really dense for a cheese this size. You're going to struggle to mature this evenly and well because it's got a very, very sort of shallow size. So possibly a bit more depth would allow that to be a bit easier for maturing. What do you think of yours? We haven't done anything yet. We're just talking, haven't we?
It doesn't matter though, but I do think the dense nature of it, even before you, it feels a weighty cheese, doesn't it? You think, oh my goodness, where are we going with this? It's
Yeah.
So how much would you score for appearance?
That's just what mine looks like. You can see it's pretty. It's a touch chalky in the middle, but it's not bad. It's got a few air pockets and appearance. I think it's pretty good in appearance. 7.5. What do you think, Emma?
6.5.
Okay.
7.
So what would you just tell me what is on appearance that you are knocking it back?
So it looks really, really dense. The cheese itself, the texture is not what you'd expect from this. It's very dense. There's a tiny breakdown, but it's incredibly chalky. The rind is kind of papery and really, really thin, which you can't see, but it's the papery element of it, which is
yeah.
7's fine.
Yeah.
Are you okay with 7?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, no.
Okay.
7 for appearance. Going on to aroma of the cheese.
It just smells unripe to me. It doesn't smell as though it's ready to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, you can smell a little bit of sweetness, slightly metallic, slightly offally, and a lot of candidum. So a lot of that white mushroom, which is nice, but it is just that. So I agree. It smells as though it's doing its thing, but it's not quite there yet. So for aroma, I mean, there's nothing dirty on it at all. It smells really clean. It's correct, but it just feels very immature. 6.5.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
6.5 for aroma. Texture.
Again, it's not. It's just. It looks like it needs another week or two if it's ever going to, go anywhere. Just to. Yeah. And in the mouth, never mind flavour. It's just.
In the mouth, the papery rind that I mentioned visually and sort of to the touch is even more pronounced. So I've got really, really papery rind. A 6.5 again.
Yeah. And the flavour again, it's just sadly just confirms what we thought in the other points. It doesn't really. It's just it's quite harsh and there's mushroom notes are there, but there's no fruit or floral notes or.
Yeah.
Pretty one-dimensional. I think the cheesemaker again would be disappointed if they tasted this now.
I think so. I think some extra aging and possibly a tiny bit more depth in this would really allow for it to mature a little easier. But yeah, I think at this stage it doesn't feel quite ready. So for what we have now, I'm happy to stay at 6.5.
Yeah, that's
6.5 for flavor.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next cheese, E41079.
Sorry, hiccups.
Oh.
Can I see the top of yours before you open it? Oh no, not the. Yeah. Have you got a damp patch? Personal question.
No, seems to be a damp patch free area at the moment. Yeah.
Well done.
Lucky me.
Cool.
Wouldn't want to loiter in the damp patch. Anyway, move on, Nigel, for goodness sake.
All right, I'm going to put half of mine back in the box because mine's quite lively.
Oh, wow.
But it looks good. Good, nice, lively.
Okay. Yeah, mine, there you go. That's.
Yeah.
It's a hempen homespun. Maybe not that completely consistent. You can see on the top.
Mm.
But and it is, as I hold it up, you can feel it moving around a bit.
Right.
That's, indicate to me that it's in good nick and ready to rumble.
Let's see. So I've got some patches around the outside which look like the white molds have died off, so or they haven't taken hold. So my rind looks like it's supposed to be sort of bloomy, which is the top coating and at the bottom, but around the back,
Yeah.
it just looks like it's either just yeasty or the molds have disappeared. So I've got quite an inconsistent rind, but the paste looks really delicious.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, look at that, like really nice sort of custardy. Mine is ripe, but it isn't liquid. It is really looking quite lovely.
That's good.
How much would you score for the appearance?
I think Nigel's looks like his rind is more consistent than mine, so I will probably be bumped up. So Nigel, what do you want to give yours?
7.5.
Sure, that's fine. Yep.
7.5. Moving on to the aroma.
I mean, rather mushroom notes there, but it's just much more enticing than the previous one. I think it.
Yep. Yeah, like mushroom, but less clinical. You can smell a bit more happening on the rind here, right? It's a bit more action from the tasty molds and yeasts on there. So aroma, what did we say? We said 7.5 for appearance, right?
Yeah, this is 8. I think it's
Yeah, that's
8
fine. Yeah.
for aroma. Texture.
The texture of the paste itself for me is really smooth and silky. The rind has got a bit of a papery element to it on mine.
Mine's pretty consistent throughout. The whole lot's pretty good.
Fine. I again will be bumped up by you because I think the paste looks delicious. My rind, obviously, it'll be feedback to the producer. However, mine have sort of consistently felt a little bit more aged than yours.
Yeah. So 7.5.
Sure.
7.5 for texture. For the flavor.
I like this a lot. I think it's it's great. It's really well formed. It's got lots of nuances. It's pleasant. It's got a good balance of acidity. There's a touch of fruit there. Quite moorish. It's very unctuous.
Yeah, it's really good. It's balanced, but in a good way. It's not boring, balanced and one-dimensional. It's balanced, but at a nice level with lots of things going on. The salt level's good. It doesn't taste acidic and bitter, which it could do from some of the things I've picked up from the appearance. It tastes good.
Yeah.
8.5.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, jumping.
8.5 good. I think because to make it really great, I would look again for a little bit more, maybe a little more. A sweetness, a touch of fruit, maybe something. Give it a couple of layers. It's still a very good cheese.
Yeah.
But to take it up to 9, 9.5, 10, you just be looking for even more. But very good, very well made.
Really nice cheese. Yeah.
And mine's certainly not as ripe as yours. But
So that's
good.
8.5 for flavor.
Yep.
Moving on to the next cheese. That'll be E41013.
It's a very flat looking cheese. So if you think of I mean, this isn't a fault so far, it's just an observation. So this one is sort of your typical like bloomy rind height. Maybe your cheese will come up to about here because you don't want it to the top. This dude's like halfway, almost. Yeah. Feels softer though, so that the one that we saw earlier, which was of a similar shape and area, was more dense. This one's got a nice pudge to it. That feels good. I find it really, really difficult to achieve a nice soft flavour in really thin cheeses. So it's good to feel that. That's really it's good cheese making to be able to make that with good maturing. The rind itself looks clean, correct. It just looks lovely. And the paste, so really textbook delicious bloomy rind. Really, really lovely breakdown around the rind. Slightly dense but not chalky paste. Yeah, similar. I think this looks really, really lovely. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it absolutely. It's be interesting to see how it develops in the next 10, 20 minutes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So appearance for me, I mean, I think it looks brilliant. There's not really, I mean, what would I change on it? I guess possibly if we're going to be really picky, slightly more height to get a bit more of that paste to rind ratio, and possibly a bit more happening on the rind itself. But otherwise, I'm sort of 8.5, 9-ish on the appearance. It looks lovely.
I'd go 9 on that.
9, yeah. It's a good looking cheese.
9 for the appearance. Moving on to the aroma of the cheese.
It's more happening in this too. So mushroom, but also garlic, alliums, bit of butter. There's a lot coming off this nose.
Yeah, good at this time of year to have that wild garlic, spring onion type elements.
Yeah.
It
smells lovely. Aroma, I think this smells really, really great as well.
Yeah, yes, it's good balance, and I love all that with floral, fruity notes, but it's like a beefy bovine element, and it's not too mushroomy. It's clever.
I'm into this. I'm a 9 again on the aroma.
Yeah.
9 for aroma. Moving on to the texture.
It's a very well made cheese.
We've got complete contrast to the previous cheese as far as texture. If we ever we're going to get an example of 2 very different cheeses. How do you think that sits around for 20 minutes, half an hour? Will that change much?
A little bit, not hugely, but yeah, you'll get a bit more of the breakdown starting to ooze. The middle might relax slightly more. It won't change enormously, but it will soften and it will relax, and I think that would be really lovely. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna eat it for lunch.
Yeah.
For me, I think the texture is great. It is ever so slightly dense in the middle, but I don't think it's not a fault, and I am enjoying the textural contrast.
Yeah, no, I go with that absolutely. It's as I say, it's not one that's is oozing away. It's not going to. It's but certainly that texture comes through in the mouth, and it's very pleasant and
Yep.
and melts. So yeah, what, 9?
Yep.
9 for the texture. Moving on to flavor.
So flavor, I get all of the things that we mentioned in the aroma. So the alliums, the mushroom. However, there is a quite prominent bitter I'm getting, which is unfortunate. It is maybe from a lot of the Penicillium candidum, and perhaps if this was slightly taller, you wouldn't feel that as much if you had more of that buttery paste versus the rind. It is not it's not a painful thing. It does slightly verge into chemical at points, but I think that's the only thing that I would really say is the bitter note is slightly distracting, but you do get a good complexity in here.
I think for all the other points, we probably were expecting a little more in the mouth.
Right.
Yeah. Would you agree with that? But it was, you thought there might be a little more complexity or something, or?
I think a little more volume. So I think that the flavors which I can taste are very nice, but it's sort of like having a consomme versus a broth kind of thing, you know. It's just very refined flavors, but in a cheese like this you want a little bit more of that volume. I still like it. I still think it's an incredibly well made cheese. I don't dislike the flavor, but it is flatter than I think both of us are expecting.
Yeah. Okay. So 8 or
8's fine. 7.5 maybe.
okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's a bit of a lets it down. So yeah. Okay.
7.5 for the flavor.
It's a really well made cheese. I do like it a lot, but the flavor did really bring it down, I think.
It's a well-made cheese.
Moving on to the next cheese will be E41167.
So we've got a bloomy rind here, which has got a bit of an elephant foot kind of shape to it. You can see it started to sort of the moisture's relaxed down the side, so it might not have been flipped enough. It looks a bit like we can wear it as a chef hat or a muffin.
Yeah.
So it's very pretty, but I don't think that was intentional.
Yeah.
It's quite extreme on one side, not so much on the other, but I think it's just one thing to watch for the maker to make sure they're flipping. And
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's like a chef's cloche hat. It's
very pretty.
like something out of Ratatouille.
Yeah.
The film, that is.
Love that film. So it's got very, very wrinkly rind. You can see that it's going to be quite liquid from the outside. Again, some missing patches of mold where it hasn't grown or it's died off around my perimeter. I don't know if you've got that too. Maybe not so much.
Less so.
Okay.
Maybe a few bits, but not much.
Yeah. So one thing that's really a little bit strange to see is that like almost a pastry top.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a pie.
Yeah, it's like it's sunk, doesn't it?
Paste wise, nice and glossy, really, really lovely and glossy, nice and soft. I'm gonna sneeze again. No, I'm not.
Okay.
So how's the score looking for appearance?
The fact that it has slightly collapsed a bit and isn't that consistent. So 7.5.
7.
7. Yeah.
Yeah.
7 for the appearance. Moving to the aroma.
I haven't got loads coming off it on the nose.
I'm looking for again a little bit more on the nose. So
it's I'm really having to try, which is not something usual for a bloomy rind style. So
it's a bit like a button mushroom nose. It's there, but it's not particularly exciting. And it's it's not saying yes, come and eat me. It's going, yeah, all right, I'm here. You know,
hello, don't look at me.
Lunchtime.
What do you think? A 6?
Yep.
Texture.
A 6 for aroma.
Well, that's salty. The texture, slight chew from the rind, which was expected from sort of looking at it. It's not a thin rind. The glossy paste is nice and smooth.
Yeah, is perfectly all right.
I think texture wise, maybe like a 6.5.
Yeah.
And for flavour, I'm not loving that, unfortunately. There's quite a lot of salt, bitter, acid. It's quite imbalanced.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's long and quite harsh and salty, and yeah, not you want to move on and taste something else, or get some apple juice down your neck, which is exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah, so maybe a 4. That apple juice looks delicious.
Yes, yeah, no, it was. You have to take my word. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So that's 4 for flavor.
I give it 4.5. Just
Fine. Yeah.
4.5.
4.5 is, yeah, that's good.
Moving on to the next cheese. That'll be E41198.
This is a really weighty cheese, but in a good way. It doesn't feel dense. For the size and for the shape, I feel like it shouldn't feel that heavy, but it does. And it's got a nice breakdown. The bloomy rind looks slightly as it looks like it's got moist. It doesn't look wet in the packaging, so it's not that it's condensation or anything like that. But the molds are a little bit flat, and you can. Yeah, you can see it's not like a white coating on mine. It's very, very smooth and slightly brown. Yeah, similar. Has yours got a crack as well?
No.
Oh.
Oh, yes, it has. Yeah, it has. There.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Sorry.
Yeah. But,
I'm waiting for Nigel to do it.
well,
Cut yours open.
Oh, yeah. And we cut it down the crack, so that's me.
I beg your pardon. Yeah, go on.
Steady on there, man. Just reached the 12 o'clock watershed. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. That was a surprise.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Truffle.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
These are all organic cheeses, so it's tricky. I mean, not easy. When again, you can tell that in the class already.
Yeah. It's also quite interesting to see that. I mean, this is just organic, right? Or is it? So there's lots of organic soft, sorry. So there's lots of similar styles, which is really interesting. Truffle, cool. Okay. So that's maybe why it's weighty. It's got extra stuff in it. Is truffle really dense? But yeah, I think it looks good. The only thing on the outside of the rinds is that I think they're slightly flat and they may have got a bit moist, so they've not grown completely. But the truffle layer looks fresh. It looks generous. It smells aromatic.
How much would you score this for appearance?
I think it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, it's a bit, but it goes again. It's quite. I'd
7.5.
7.5. You say?
Mm.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
7.5 for appearance. Moving to the aroma of the cheese.
Well.
Truffle.
Actually, truffle mushroomy as well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not overly strong. It's not bonkersly. Like some truffles can absolutely just take your legs away.
Yeah, and it doesn't just smell like truffle oil, which a lot of things can smell quite synthetic and like gas-like. There is a truffly, porcini, mushroom sort of aroma going on.
Yeah, but truffles are very discernible. You can see them.
Mm.
So what score for the aroma?
I think certainly the most interesting cheese we've tried in this class so far.
It's interesting.
Four?
Did you say 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with 8. I would have gone higher if I didn't get as much ammonia on the rind and maybe a bit more from the rind itself as well as the truffle. That would have scored it really, really highly, but it does have a lovely aroma. So yeah, 8's good.
8 for the aroma. Moving to texture.
I think it's lovely. It is very broken down, but nice and glossy and smooth. It's not tacky.
I mean, it's a bit where the truffles have gone in. It's a bit cracky, but I like the fact it's running. It's beginning to ooze. It's, you know, think, oh yeah, I'm going to tackle that. That's great. So 8.5, 9.
Going to bring it down to 8.5, I think, just because of the slight chew on the rind.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
8.5 for the texture. Moving to the flavor.
It's lovely. It's really rounded. It works really well. The flavor combination of the truffle they've used, so like the truffle minced carpaccio kind of thing that they've used with the mushroom and bit of brassica on the actual cheese. The salt's in check, which can really be out of whack sometimes. I think it's a very well made cheese.
Yeah.
With the flavoring as well, you can really hide behind the flavor. So I think it's a good combination of the cheese plus the truffle.
Some of the other cheeses where we were really hoping they would deliver in the flavour department, but fell away a bit. This absolutely really ups the ante there. I think that's by far the most interesting and complex and well-made cheese of this group we've had, you know, this category. So 9, 8.5.
9's cool. I like it. It's good.
Yeah,
9 for the flavor.
pass on me, Emma. I thought, oh my goodness. Right.
Moving to the last cheese of the class, E41228.
Okay.
So we have a little doily number.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think might need to be dabbing that truffle behind my ears for the rest of the day.
That's going to be gone in about 11 minutes. Oh no, when we're done.
Yeah. It's a pretty cheese, isn't it? Let's have a look. Is it, once it's out of the box.
Okay, so this one, I think it looks. I like the size. I like that it's quite small. It's not an enormous cheese, so you don't feel like you're having to buy too much. Sometimes people don't want to buy an enormous cheese. I do think the rind is in good condition. It's got a very, very wrinkly sort of vermiculated rind. It does have some molds on there, which I don't think were intentional.
Yeah, there's a bit of extra bloom there, isn't there?
Yeah, extra bloom, bit of green, bit of blue.
It's a little bit. I haven't got the green and blue, but I have got this. It's a little fluffy mold, which I think is a bonus. Put it that way. I just don't think it necessarily what was intended. I don't know what you think there, Sarah, but you can just see it's.
I can't really see that. Appearance, the color of the paste is good. It looks really sticky.
Yeah.
So not like silken and smooth. It looks sticky. So the appearance to me, it looks slightly what's the word? Rustic. I think it looks a little bit like I don't know how to describe it. Nigel, help me.
It's, yeah, it does. It looks like these. If you're patting butter, that's what you are. Once it's come off the paddle,
right?
You get that type of striation marking, and you can see the different the contrast in the paste where you got it's slightly. I mean, I wouldn't even say chalky in the middle, but it's certainly firmer, and then it's beginning to go on the outside. I don't mind any of that.
Okay.
It just looks like a really nice small artisan cheese. It's so not much on the nose. It's
Or do you want to score it for appearance?
Well, yeah, just say I'm just, I'm not going to tackle into it yet, but just working my way through it. I thought it looked fine. I'll say those extra bloom might not be there, but it didn't put me off. So appearance wise, 8, 7.5, 8, 7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
Okay.
Moving to the aroma.
I'm not getting much, and what I am getting is a bit of ammonia and a bit of mushroom. So for me on aroma, I'm quite a lot lower than that. I'm around a 5-ish.
I give it 5.5. I think it's.
Fine.
I think there's
5.5 for the
faults. I just
aroma.
don't think there's a lot there, so it's disappointing.
I've got both. I've got faults and not there. So I think if you were slightly higher than me, possibly for the ammonia element, we can bring it down a bit.
Okay, 5.5. So
Moving to the texture.
It is a bit sticky, but I don't dislike that. I think it's an interesting texture. The rind doesn't have a bad influence on the paste. It's not overpowering or texturally distinct or different in a bad way. It's fine. Yeah.
it amalgamates quite well, I think. So yeah, I think that's quite good.
Yeah. So it's like 7.5, 8.
Yeah. So, I would give it 8.
Okay.
8 for the texture. Moving on to flavor.
It's pleasant. I wouldn't want any more salt in it. There's enough there, but underpins it. I just think it's a very pleasant cheese. That's it. It's not really. I would look, for it to be a bronze, silver, or gold type cheese. It just needs more oomph and weight and drive and interest. It's
Yeah. I think from if we're looking at faults also, I have got a lot of pepper on the rind of that one. A lot of pepper, sort of white pepper on it. But other than that, it is just very sort of simple in flavour. What do you want to score it?
7.
Sure.
7 for flavor. So that brings us to the end of this class. And the entry number that has the most points is E41013.
No, I asked what the second place was.
Sorry, before we go any further, was it not 1198?
No, that's the second one.
Really?
Yeah.
Did
So, I
you
mean, you can go back and have a look as you would normally do in a event.
Yes, let's have another. Sorry, so the one that was it 1079?
107. No, sorry, 1013. 1013 has scored 38.25 and 1198 is 37.5.
So 1013.
Yeah.
Is that this one? I mean, we scored. I'm confused. I think it's this one. The
I
one that
think
we
so,
really liked.
looks like
this
that, yeah.
one. And then the truffle is the other one, isn't it?
Yes.
What was the point difference?
So 1079 was 1013 was 38.25 and the 1198 was 37.5. So about
1013 was 38.25. Oh, hold on. So 198. So the winner's not the truffle. The winner's the bloomy rinds. This
Bloomy
one.
rind one, yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Nigel, what are you lost? Have you got
Yeah,
them?
I thought the truffle was our outstanding one.
So I think it was actually this one. So let's have a look at both of them. So
Well,
the one that we
flavor
really,
wise,
pardon?
flavor wise, the bloomy rind one was 7.5, and the truffle one was scored 9.
Interesting. Okay, so we had two definitely in contention. There was this one.
Yeah.
The flat bloomy rind that
Yeah,
had
1013. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was the truffle. So those two are, well, the one that's currently winning is the non-truffle
Yeah.
by less than a point.
We should just go back and taste them again and see what we think.
I think so, because from memory, I mean, I thought we were singing very, very highly of the bloomy rind, but the truffle was also brilliant. So yeah, let's just do it again.
So the bloomy rind outscores the truffle in all other aspects, apart from the
flavour.
taste. Yeah.
Flavor, yeah. So.
But the flavour's weighted, so even with the flavour, does that even, so is that score still marked down?
So the flavor
just
was.
check, is the formula working on your Excel spreadsheet?
Flavor's double.
It is working because the flavor for the truffle is 9 and the bloomy one is 7.5. So there's a marginal difference.
So it's 18 then, isn't it? So we double it up, don't we?
No, it's not doubled it. It's 50% extra.
So it's 50%
it would
extra.
be 4.5. So it'd be 13.5 for flavour. But then if there's so if that's 1.5 points left under, then that's going to make 3 points difference solely on flavour, isn't it?
So yeah.
Did the other attributes score a lot higher then?
Yes. So the other attributes of bloomy rind were all 9.
Oh, okay. That's where the difference is then.
The truffle one was 7.5, 8, and 8.5.
Oh, okay. So that's where the difference is in then. So I guess you guys can look at them again and have to decide what you think. You are the cheese guys.
Seems like flavor versus technically sound cheese. Point wise.
What do you think, Emma?
I'm on the fence, but I think the truffle flavour outweighs the other bloomy rind on second taste.
Yes, I think we were slightly disappointed in the other one just when we got to taste to it. You know, we thought it was going to be more exciting.
Yeah, and I mean the truffle, as well as, I mean, it's not just the truffle that we're tasting; it's every other part of that cheese too.
Yeah.
Nigel, tell me, what do you think? Sorry, guys.
So just so you know, 2 of the cheeses can go through at the same time.
2 can?
Well, there you go.
That's it. No?
Yeah.
You're on mute, Sarah.
1 second. You can't make a decision and you think both of those cheeses are exceptional, then you can put both of the cheeses through.
Yes, please. I think. Nigel, are you happy with that?
That makes sense. Because it's very close, you know, and I think it's
less than a point, and I think they're, but yeah, if that's a thing, then absolutely, I'd love to do that.
Okay. And
That's
so
the
the
thing.
cheeses that would be going through would be E41013 and E41198. These are the
I'm
2
very
cheeses
happy
I'll
with
be
that.
going through.
I look forward to receiving the scores on the doors and the comments, and then I will process that accordingly.
So that brings us to the end of the session. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Butler's Farmhouse Cheeses, for sponsoring this wonderfully bright apron, which I've got this today. I'm really good about it. And not last but not the least, I'd like to thank our amazing judges, Emma Young and Nigel Barden. Thank you so much and well appreciated to be on board. And we have our founder, Sarah DeWitt. Thank you for having this and organizing all of this. And also for the viewers, there is this live event on the 17th of May where it will be given awards for best in class for categories best English, Welsh, Irish, and Scottish. And also it's the day we'll be handing out awards to recognize different talents and passionates in the industry. Also look out for the Virtual Cheese Award crowning. That's when we'll be crowning the champion. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a nice day.
And just before you go, all hosted
Yeah.
by Nigel Barden. Our
Yes,
guest
he's good. I hear he's all right.
That's the host.
This guy.
That's the host.
Yeah. Oh, great. And that's going to be a great day. Marvellous cheeses. And yeah, it's going to be the best of the best. It'll be a long day, but a really exciting one. So can't wait. And we're going to be finding out, of course, all our regionals, our category, and our overall champion. Yeah, campione. So great. Thank you, Emma, very much for taking me through that. That was really good. And right to the end, we had some interesting decisions, which was good. It's exactly how it should be.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks, Nigel. It was good fun.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody.
so much
Thank
for
you, everyone.
That's great. I think that's it. We're done. We're going to go the rest of our lives today.
Bye.
Cheers, Sarah.
Bye.
Yeah, right.